This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Hey, it is a Wednesday edition of a numbers game here on VSiN, the sports betting network. Matt Brown in on the desk for Gil Alexander. Kelly Bidlin here right along beside me. We're going to have a good show, the both of us are. The whole crew behind everyone behind the glass, everybody.
We're all going to do our best, Matt. That's all we can ever ask.
A great show in which we have, would you say we have a plethora of guests?
I would say that. I would say that.
I guess y'all do a lot of guests. It seems like we have a plethora of guests here on the show today. As Tony Farmer is going to join us, Adam Burke is going to join us. Andy Molitor is going to walk right through those double doors right there.
That's right.
And he's going to sit on this very desk with us.
See what he has to say about the Tour Championship. Looking forward to talking that today on the show. We'll pick his brain about a little bit of NFL.
Going to say, see if there's anything that stood out to him as they have previewed, all of the teams.
They're doing great. I mean, I know we have Drew Dinsick on every week. You guys hear from him, but Andy is the other half of the Deep Dive podcast, and they are doing fantastic previews on every single team. If you want over an hour on a deep dive on every single team, that's the podcast to go to. Andy doing the what has he been in Vegas for like a week and a half?
He will have been here for like a week and a half, I think.
The intriguing Vegas long stay, which, man, that would make me very nervous. Matt, well, you know me. I do not have the self-control to, if I didn't live here, to come out here for 2 weeks.
It's one of those things where, as he pointed out to us over the weekend, which was, once everyone gets out of town, you can live like a normal life.
Right, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the same deal that people say to us, to people that don't live here. Well, how do you live in Vegas? I'm like, I live in the suburbs.
Yeah, no, it just it becomes regular life.
You wouldn't know where I live comparatively to where you live.
Right,
it's just a bunch of grocery stores and strip malls and everything else. Like, it's not like I'm walking down and people aren't flicking the cards at me as I go into Albertsons and stuff or whatever. Like, they're not trying to get me a mail order bride or anything.
It's also the part, though, that makes things like last week tough sometimes, right? Because everybody comes to town and they're like, hey, let's party. And it's like, hey, we've got regular lives to lead still out here.
Could you imagine if you just went to your local Albertsons and they were standing outside trying to sell you the hookers? Like, that would be amazing.
I still wouldn't be all that shocked. The most mind-blowing thing to me about living in Las Vegas is that there are video poker and slot machines everywhere, including your Albertsons, including your gas stations, all of those.
That's weird. I get it because it wasn't where you were. That isn't weird to me. They had that in Louisiana.
Really?
Yeah, there would be like video poker machines in gas stations.
Yeah, okay. I did not know that happened in other states. That was mind-blowing to me.
It wasn't all that weird to me
especially since there's always someone playing there too. It'd be one thing if I just said that and they were always dead and just nobody ever using them. Though there's always somebody at the gas station playing video poker.
The Cubs swept that Tuesday doubleheader from the Brewers, so this actually keeps this NL Central race alive because it gets it down to 7 games. I mean, Kelly, we were talking, this could have been a massive flip in all of this, and even though we do have a decent amount of games left, if this thing had gotten up to 9-10, you probably think there's zero chance. It's still a very, very slim chance that the Cubs are able to go and compete in this division, but certainly getting that doubleheader win makes it to where we can still have content about this division. We can still make it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, get in the mix. Hopefully this stays competitive. Was just pulling up with the best record odds are as well, because Brewers, this is coming down. -185 for the Brewers right now. Phillies +650 in that market.
The Astros have lost 3 in a row, but the Mariners have lost 4 in a row, and the Rangers have gone 2-8 in their last 10. So despite the fact that the Astros have lost 3 in a row, nobody made a move at all on this Houston team because the Mariners can't win and the Rangers can't win either. That was a bit of a bummer of a loss yesterday for us here on this is one of those things where when the handicap works out and the results just don't match up, it's fine. It was 0-0 into the 10th inning. I was like, I think Hunter Brown can go toe-to-toe with Tarek Skubal.
Sure did.
He did.
Yep.
It just, they couldn't hit him at all. And it's, whatever. You lose 1-0. I'm not beating myself up.
Well, and you talk about, I ended up watching, last few innings of that game after we got done recording long shots. I knew you had the bet on it, and it was tight. And, we've talked about the Tigers bullpen issues before, and they, tip the cap to them. They showed up and was able to shut down the Astros in that game. But, that's exactly what it is, right? Your handicap, you're going up against Skubal, and you gotta you've got to get past him somehow, and you got out of the starting pitcher exactly what you wanted.
Yeah, we got a big money, we got a big plus money price on that. So again, like I said, not really beating myself up there over that one. Red Sox lost 3 in a row, 7 of their last 10, while the Yankees have won 4 in a row and 7 of their last 10. And so now,
let's go Yanks.
The Sox. Man, yes, this is the Yankees now leading the Red Sox by a game and just 5 back of the Blue Jays. So we're not quite full on Undertaker.gif here on the Yankees. Like,
let's go. Once they win the division, though, we will be.
Man, people love using that one.
Yeah, they really. It's a great one. It's
a fantastic one.
You don't even have to be a wrestling fan like me, and I still use it all the time.
No, it's because it's just so great because it is a dude in a coffin with the coffin flipping open and then sitting up immediately very quickly.
Back alive. Have you heard my Yankees bet? I think I have the worst Yankees bet you've ever heard.
Yeah, you have multiple, don't you?
I do have a couple, but the only main team future is minus 220 on them to win the division I made on July 3rd.
Yeah.
Basically the worst possible price, worst possible time to make that bet.
Little League World Series asks these kids, they ask them all these different questions. So when they come up to bat, they'll have the, what's your favorite food? What's your whatever? We've gotten to the point, they ask them what their favorite meme is. So
Are you serious?
Yeah. So some of them will pop up and it's like, what's your favorite meme?
That's really weird.
I
already know the answer for Dave Ross.
What's your favorite meme?
Whoever's spitting out coffee is Dave Ross's favorite one. I don't know. Undertaker's definitely up there.
That one's up there. The kid that the one that I saw, the kid happened to put the Homer Simpson fading back into the bushes. That one, it's like you say when you say something that you want to take back, and you'll show you play that one.
I like the little kid. I like to use ones that are unique. I like to really actually take time searching for a good GIF, whatever. I like.
Sometimes you miss the moment though when you take too long or whatever.
True. I like the one where there's a little kid with blonde hair and he's typing out some '90s computer, and then he gives a thumbs up.
That one is fantastic.
I like that one, especially since he looks like he'd be a member of my family and yours.
This sounds like a side podcast with you and I, where we just rank the top 50 memes out there. People would actually appreciate that because then they could get those into their rotation.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. We
might have to
the live radio audience now might not be appreciating.
No, I'm saying a little side project.
Yeah, a little side project. I like it.
Vlad Guerrero, we talked about that yesterday, did go get that MRI. It came back clean, though he did sit out last night's game. It was a win over the Pirates. It's Pirates. They probably didn't really need him, but something we will continue to monitor, see if he's in the lineup today or if they're just going to give him a few days off to make sure that everything is 1,000% okay, because as we said, this lead, while still 5 games, is but 5 games and can't go away.
Yes.
So you got to have Vlad.
Absolutely.
Yankees, a franchise record 9 home runs, 13-3 win over the Rays. This is actually the second time this season that they have done that with the 9 home runs deal. And so, like we just mentioned, they are continuing to rock and roll here. Shohei Ohtani hits his 44th home run of the season, 11-4 win over the Rockies. And then the Reds won. And if you guys haven't been following this, Reds are now 7-3 in their last 10. They have played very well since the All-Star break. They're only 1 game out of the wild card. The Cincinnati Reds, 1 game out of the wild card over there in the NL. I know this is something that maybe a lot of people don't pay attention to, where those wild card standings actually sit. Because if you look, yes, they're like a billion games back of the
12
of the
and a half,
Brewers.
and
you're kind of like, okay, well, I don't need to pay attention to this team. Well, actually, you do. They are 1 game out of the wild card, and once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen.
Who's the most catchable? Is that a word? Most catchable? Cubs, Padres, Mets.
In my opinion, the Mets, just because of their starting pitching.
Okay.
But the Padres have just, the Padres, that's a frustrating team. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here. I'm holding on to hope with the bet there on the Padres, but they're not instilling a ton of confidence in me. Jordan Addison is suspended in multiple injuries, stuff like that. So the Vikings are going to be looking into that receiver market and see if they can bring in someone to maybe help out. I know that there was someone out there, a veteran presence that wanted to let everybody know that he was not retired and maybe would fit right alongside Justin Jefferson, named Odell Beckham. A little LSU reunion. Of course, they were long ways apart. But, Odell was a mentor to JJ when he was done.
Yeah. He's come out and said he's not going to play. He's not going to play until he plays.
Yeah.
Until he plays. I saw a Cleve TA tweet this morning. Adam Thielen, get him back in town. There you go. Maybe he's got one more year left in him.
I don't know, man. I think the Panthers are.
I know. I think they kind of like him.
I think they like him. I think the Panthers think that they might be able to. If you looked at that division,
that is, by the way, that move has worked out far better than I imagined it happened. Working out at the time.
If you're them too, you look at that division, you're like, I mean, I get it. The Bucs are better than us, but I mean, could we not run pure and win this division? I mean,
we're talking NFC South tomorrow.
Yeah,
I have thoughts.
I think that they're thinking about that. Arch Manning says he doesn't know exactly how this is going to pan out. So again, this does affect number one overall pick market. This definitely affects Heisman, all the different things like that. He says that, look, there was a move in the market because Archie came out and said to Texas Monthly that, he wasn't gonna go, even though I hadn't talked to him. He goes, I haven't talked to him, but I know him. He's going to be back at Texas. Well, Arch is like, let's not jump the gun here, Pawpaw.
Yeah, Arch was like, shut up, Grandpa.
Let's not jump the gun here, Pawpaw. And what this actually did for us, well, for me, everyone knows that's been following me here on the network. Over the years that I've been here, I like to create a portfolio of those number one overall pick things. And you had a very short shot in Arch Manning. And then a quote gets put into a magazine by a grandfather who said that he had not talked to the kid yet. And he jumped all the way out to 10-1 to be the number one overall pick. So now
you jumped in?
So now I have a 10-1
on
Arch to go number one overall, which is, again, if he plays halfway decent, given the pedigree, given all the stuff like that, I mean, he's going to be right there in all of that. And I think the team is going to be, whatever team it is.
Yeah, still plus 750 at DraftKings. I'm surprised he hasn't come down a little bit more from there.
We did get some quarterback answers yesterday. We're not going to get a quarterback answer for the Saints. We talked about that they were still the team left out there. Kellen Moore says they've not yet made a call on the quarterback. It's really, really close numbers, experience, reps, and everything. It's going to go all the way down to the end of training camp.
Yep. Yeah, we look out for that. And congratulations to Circa by the books on the new Mint Gaming Hall. With those guys doing the show out of there today, finally. Dave Ross looking good in studio.
Let's go country clubbing when we come back.
Got a good thing coming, so wait and see. It's a good.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, I'm with Matt Humans again. 4 early games in MLB. We'll talk soccer with Steve Wiss at 4:30 Eastern. Brad Biggs of the Chicago Tribune. We'll talk about the Bears and the Cubbies' postseason chances. And at 5:30 Eastern, Paul Stone, his best bets for Week 0 and an incredible high school football story. Follow the Money, 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the sports betting network, now Sirius XM Channel 158. Check out the website for all the betting tools and analysis, or get the VSiN Watch app.
The quest for $14.2 million starts right now.
We've waited. It's now here.
Record-breaking signups, $14.2 million. Also record-breaking chaos.
The number one team goes down in week 1.
It's crazy, dude. I mean, obviously, this game was supposed to be Bengals blowout. No!
I'm done. The dream of going back-to-back is over.
Come on, baby!
Nobody could see this one coming.
No way the number one pick goes down in week number 2, but it did.
This has been the craziest year that I've ever seen.
By week 4, 75% of the entries are gone.
This is a tough competition, and it is not for the faint at heart.
Within 5 weeks, we lost 97% of the entries.
You can feel the tension like a hot knife through butter.
How many survivors will make it to even mid-season?
All episodes available now at VSiN.com/survivor.
Hi, parents.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Numbers game here on VSiN. Matt in for Gil. Kelly Fidlin alongside. We just have some more news and stuff to talk about. Didn't even get to Major League Baseball games today and some plays. Of course, those will be going here shortly after we get off air. So we'll circle back around.
Yeah,
we'll circle back around to that. But
we'll circle the bases.
You know, it's. I'm glad you mentioned the studio opening up there. We were commenting as we walked in. It looked fine on television for our VSiN Pro subscribers or the people that have us on YouTube TV. It was a very nice looking shot.
Yeah, it looks great. Looks great. I hope Dave heard that first segment, but mainly just because of the GIF meme conversation.
Yeah.
That is, you can't have a podcast about GIFs without Dave Ross.
He uses it's the brown-headed lady that
I don't know who it is.
laughs.
Am I supposed to know who that is?
I think it's that
like one of the
Meghan
morning
Markle.
show?
No, I think it's that Meghan Markle that married the king or whatever, the prince or whatever. Look at that.
Oh, okay.
Looks like a little mini version of us.
Yeah,
that's
a lot. That is, you are looking live
right there
Mint
at Mint Gaming Hall in Kentucky. They're, I guess, putting up some promo material and all of that. It's not too long before that place is going to be popping off.
It looks great. Studio looks great. Yeah. Casino looks great. Brand new. Listening to Derek Mike talk about it this morning. Just they were talking about how that whole area is just kind of blowing up and getting bigger and getting built up around them. So gonna be exciting things. Dave's gonna be lonely in that studio though.
No.
I need to send you out there to join.
There's gonna be so many. me in Kentucky. That would be. I got out of the South, man. Humidity and bugs. I'm done with it. All right, let's not take too long here. Where are we headed?
Let's hit the club.
Actually played golf with Ben Wilson yesterday. I can see him there in the background.
Yeah, there he is. There's Uncle Teddy.
I'm sure this is going to shock everybody out there as the way that we talk about Ben Wilson. He's getting ready for a trip to Scotland. As he's like, I'm sure they're firing up the family jet and heading over to Scotland.
Ben Wilson, who will be here in person to defend himself tomorrow from these comments.
Yes. It was.
I did book him to talk tennis, though, so the country club theme continues.
We'll talk to him about a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little bit,
including the fact that maybe I beat him yesterday.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know you have one thing you want to talk to him about, but yeah,
maybe I beat him yesterday. I don't know. I can't remember if I did or if I didn't, but he'll remember. I'm sure he'll remember one way or another.
What was your best shot yesterday?
What do you mean? It certainly wasn't the three that I hit in the water. It certainly wasn't the three that I hit in the water.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's right.
All right, Tour Championship.
Yeah, Tour Championship here. This is the final tournament of the year, guys. We know we played down to our final 30. You can finish dead last in this puppy. You're going to get $550,000, but if you are able to win it, which Scotty's just going to do that, $10 million up top for this one. We have a very extensive history of East Lake, Kelly, so we kind of know the profile of this course and the golfer that we're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk Long Shots up now. Go check that out. Myself, Matt, Wes will go much further deep dive into this. We'll just kind of hit the highlights here. But yeah, I mean, look, if you're doing a lot of statistical modeling, you're just looking at stats like we are every week. Matt, wasn't really much that I changed up from last week. Obviously, BMW's on a rotation, but East Lake, you know what you're getting, like you said. It is thick, rough that you got to deal with off the fairway. Some thin fairways. You got some narrow fairways here, about 30 yards wide. So that's what we see that a few times a year on some of the tougher courses. That's a big deal. Water will come into play, but you got to keep it in the fairway. Distance off the tee helps, and then this is a heavy, heavy test of approach every single year. This is a major ball striker course. We see that. We've seen guys like Victor Hovland, like Colin Morikawa, like Scotty Scheffler, like Rory McIlroy really do well at this course here in the past. And we know all those guys, one thing they have in common is that ball striking ability.
So given what we talked about on Monday with Scotty Scheffler taking down the tournament last week, he is going to roll into this puppy about plus 150. Yesterday there were 170s. I'm not sure if they're still out there in the market or not, but I imagine by this time the thing gets going, it'll be pretty much universally kind of 150-ish with Scotty Scheffler. A huge jump all the way to 850 for Rory McIlroy. Then another bigger jump to Fleetwood at 14, Ludwig at 18. Henley is at 20, and then everybody else is 25 or longer. Yes, there are only 30 people in this field, and we get that quickly to 25 to 1. And we talked a little bit about this on the pod yesterday, but it's worth bringing up here. It is hard for us to nitpick these odds with the way that Scottie Scheffler has played. 13 straight tournaments where he's not finished lower than 8th place. In 13 straight, he's won 5 times over the course of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you're now giving him a field of only 29 other dudes. At the bottom of the field, these guys are still great and they had good seasons, but they're either in poor form coming in, they're not necessarily a threat on this type of course to win. So really, Kelly, 20, it's him versus 20 guys, him versus 19 guys. That's why he's plus 150.
I'll go 20 to 25. I think there's probably five guys. I don't know how much more we can completely chop out of this. But yeah, look, Scheffler's in amazing form right now. We all know that. Look, I think a couple things. One obvious statement here, but I'm going to keep driving this home because it keeps blowing my mind, Matt, how many people don't know this who do kind of talk about golf. No starting strokes. We have no starting strokes this week. So I know you're seeing plus 150. A lot of people are thinking, oh, Scotty's got this lead. No, there's no lead here. Scotty is just playing that well right now. So wanted to get that out. And then I know you don't have an outright bet on him, but I think one of the great things we talked about on Long Shots yesterday, I think if you're betting Scottie Scheffler, there's no reason to get in before the tournament. I think you just wait live. You had a great note on it, but he tees off last. I think you just wait. At worst, you're going to get the same number pretty much.
Yeah, that's kind of the beauty here of the odds constantly updating is so the algorithm sometimes, and now they might not because there's only 30 players and all the different like that, but we'll see. We will do the experiment tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which is,
it might only be 5 cents. I don't think it's going to be much longer.
Yeah, a guy goes out, and even though a guy such as Scottie Scheffler, who we know is amazing, has not hit one single ball yet because he's gone 3 under earlier in the day or 4 under earlier in the day, we start to get a drift on some of these other guys. And so that's how I'm going to play Scottie. So I don't have Scottie in there. I have de facto outrights just because I made them months ago. I thought there was some value on a couple of different guys. Ends up not being the case. I could have got basically the same number now on them that I got back then. But with Scottie, if it going off at 11, with a lot of these guys going off 3 hours before him, including some dudes going off 2 hours before him that we know can go low. Victor Hovland goes off 2 full hours before Scottie goes off. And so, maybe like you said, it's the price certainly isn't going to get worse.
Yeah,
it can only get better.
It would be shocking if it got worse. Right?
Unless they all went 5 over.
They'd be like I don't know. The lead would have to be one under or something by the time he tees off for this number to get any worse. So that's where I'm not sitting here saying it's going to go to 3 to 1 because there's only 30 guys in this field. But guess what? Betting plus 160 is better than betting plus 150, and that's at least the potential. One other thing I didn't bring up on Long Shots yesterday. Matt, for how long you and I have been running different stat models, this was the biggest gap I've ever had between number 1 and number 2.
Oh, yeah.
In any event, and it kind of doesn't matter that there's 30 guys, right? It doesn't matter because I'm still getting a player rating score on each one of these guys for how they model out. And it was Tommy Fleetwood mainly number 2 for me yesterday, but the biggest gap I've ever had.
Fleetwood certainly has been the most consistent, I think, of these dudes here of late. We just know his bugaboo. He just can't get across the finish line. You did add a couple of outrights onto your card.
I've got one. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to battle one more time against Scottie. I'm gonna play Ludwig. I'm playing much of what I did pretty much a week ago. So very similar bets. Ludwig in great form right now, has gained with the putter in 3 of his last 4, 5 of his last 7. The ball striking numbers have been awesome ever since the PGA Championship. This course should fit him very well. So close to 20 to 1 right behind me here at Circa. I took a stab. I also did of course I bet this first, but I did the dual forecast. I do think this is another important point to bring up though if you're betting this event. Compare, MGM had this up. I don't know how many shops will have up the dual forecast. But compare those prices to winner without Scottie Scheffler market, right? Some shops are posting both, and you might prefer a bet in one or the other. The Oberg number was much worse in the winner without market with Scheffler, so I went to dual forecast there. Top 5 on Ludwig. And then only other golfers that I bet, Henley and Cameron Young. Henley I've been betting regularly throughout the summer. He's just been playing great golf. He has good history at this course. I laid off him last week. Got a little upset at myself. So I'm back in on him at a top 10 pretty heavy at minus 118. Cameron Young in there as well. And then Cameron Young I played over Robert McIntyre and Justin Thomas in matchups.
We'll circle back around to my bets here a little bit later in the show. But like I said, I've got outrights essentially on Victor Hovland and Corey Connors from a couple of months ago. I thought Connors was playing so consistently and so good that like a 67-1 on him at that point was going to be just absurd value, and then he cooled off a ton. And then the 30, I think I have 34 or 35 on Hovland. You can get him at 30 right now. So again, not a ton of value. I thought I was going to be getting a ton of value. That is actually not the case here.
They got more value than my Xander Schauffele ticket from a couple months ago.
I made it the same time you did too, so that one's already in the trash can. You think you're better than the experts out there? Well, you can prove it in the Edge Boost Average Joe contest, the same format as the Circa Friday football contest, but contestants are average Joes instead of the pros. Free to play. Go in, you can earn a spot in our next year's 25 Pro Handicapper Circa Invitational. VSiN.com/Joe, VSIN.com/JOE.
This season with VSiN's College Football Betting Guide, exclusive to VSiN Pro subscribers. It's packed with 136 team previews, preseason top 25 rankings, and best bets from our experts. Pro subscribers also get the NFL Betting Guide, daily best bet emails, exclusive splits, and full access to our premium betting tools. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe for just $9.99 for your first 30 days. Or save 50% with an annual Pro subscription. And join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Numbers game here on a Wednesday. Matt and for Gil, Kelly Bidlin alongside. We'll put a bow here on the golf conversation. Like I said, I didn't do the outright market. I honestly think Scotty wins the tournament. I think this is set up perfectly for him. By the way, he did that last week without his caddy. He gets his caddy back this week. I mean, just everything coming up, Scotty.
Yeah, he's going to be tough to take down. This is going to be a fun tournament to monitor, though, just from the betting side of things. With how short of a shot he is, like I get it. There's a lot of people are going to look down that odds board and see a Shane Lowry 60-1 and think about times that Shane's pulled through for him in the past. There's only 30 guys in the field, Matt. What could go wrong?
I'm going Rory McIlroy top 5, Ben Griffin top 5. Rory plays this course very well. Lots of course history here. This is one of those courses that we do have a ton of data on. So I'll play him to just play like he needs to. Remember, this is top 5 out of 30 players. And then Ben Griffin at 5-1. I'm playing for a spike week here for Ben Griffin. But if you kind of look back at Ben Griffin, he's been one of the more consistent players over the last 2.5 months on tour. And while yes, he won earlier on, Kelly, and he hadn't really competed a ton here lately. You just go and you look and you see if he had missed the water here, or if he had kind of this here or something like that, some of these T12s and 14s and stuff probably would have been 5s and 6s and maybe even some 3s in there. So Ben Griffin, let's miss the water this week and just keep doing what you've been doing, buddy, and give me a 5-1 home.
One thing you don't have to worry about with him, that putter's been red hot for about 4 months, so no, that's going to keep.
Top 10 rolling with the hot hand. This is more hot hand plays here with the top 10. Still getting plus money on J.J. Spawn and Cam Young. Cam Young probably playing the most consistent golf he's played in his whole career over the last month and a half.
You and I are both betting him, so yeah. And
J.J. Spawn, obviously I don't have to tell you about J.J. Spawn. His guy has just been absolutely on fire. And I'm going to ride the hot hand here with him. Again, top 10 out of 30. And still getting plus money on these dudes. I'm going to play Ben Griffin over Harry Hall. I'm going to play J.J. Spawn over Colin Morikawa. I just told you I like J.J. Spawn, so I won't go there again. Colin Morikawa cannot putt it in a hole 5 times the size of a normal golf hole. The dude is horrific right now on the greens, and so he can't save anything, Kelly. If you can't make a clutch putt here and there, and by the way, his around the green stuff has been bad too, if you're not absolutely dialed, you have to be so dialed, and he's not. So it's just I'm going to play this. I think he's ready for the season to be over. I think he's ready to go back in the lab. We know that Colin Morikawa likes to tinker.
I like that one. I like that bet.
He's a big-time tinkerer. So, and then Ben Griffin over Harry Hall. We had a little bit of a debate about Harry Hall on the podcast. If you want to listen to that, y'all can go in and listen to me and Kelly's thoughts on Harry Hall. But I like Ben Griffin a lot more than I like Harry Hall this week. So you can get my full thoughts there. Wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, wherever.
Go in, download, rate, subscribe, rate, review.
We'll take all that, please.
Yeah, subscribe, rate, review. Let us know right in the little comment section about how, if you're on YouTube, how good we look.
Mm-hmm.
That's self-editing by Kelly Bidlin, by the way, if anyone's wondering.
That's right.
He's getting that done. So we talked a little bit about some of these award markets over in the NFL. Yesterday, we didn't get to some of the other ones. So I do want to run through those and just get your thoughts, my thoughts on defensive player of the year. I will tell you this. I don't know if I've ever made a defensive player of the year bet. I don't think this is one that ever really makes it into my account. And I got to thinking about it and don't really know why.
I know why this year's tough, right? It feels like it's been the past couple years. It's not really one of the awards markets that I feel like I often bet either. But man, it is. We're just stacked with pass rushers right now, right? And it's which one of these elite pass rushers is going to end up on the best team and put up the best stats. And I think you're kind of rolling the dice. Hayden Hutchinson, Micah Parsons are at the top of the board, 7-1. Micah 7 plus 750. He's not even in theory playing right now for his team, and he's the second shot this mark. Myles Garrett plus 850, T.J. Watt plus 950, Max Crosby 13-1, Will Anderson 13-1. It's just all pass rushers down the board.
You could probably, I guess, you could do a strategy of like betting, Parsons, Garrett, Watt, and Crosby walking away, and then you're just fading Aiden Hutchinson in the thought that he's going to win comeback player of the year. And then just, you're betting, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're betting 5. You would make money no matter what, but like you're hoping that it's Crosby, as opposed to whatever. It's very hard to believe there's going to be anybody but these guys at the top because it's the counting stats, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they get the counting stats and they get all the highlights. That's the other thing.
I thought I heard a good case earlier this summer. I think it was from Drew Dinzig, for Jalen Carter, but that number would need to be longer, 22 to 1, because it's still going to be it's still counting stats. It's just a race to that. And his point was just, do we really know where the ceiling's at with Jalen Carter? Can he be that big of a force inside for the Eagles that he can push himself into this conversation? I would need longer than 22 to 1 though to get interested in that.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, I have 2 tickets that I'm not going to say they're dead yet, but the Browns did the stupid thing, and they're going to start Joe Flacco. So I had both Shedeur and Gabriel. Gabriel I have at 100 to 1, and then I have Shedeur at like 70 to 1. So I just okay, listen.
Great numbers, bro.
These are priced as if these dudes aren't going to play at all, essentially, and so I don't think they're dead, but certainly they're circling the drain with all of that. Your short shots, Ashton Jeanty at 275, Cam Ward at 350, Amari and Hampton at 750, 10 to 1 on Travis Hunter, Tet McMillan and Travion Henderson at 16, as is Tyler Shook, and then everyone else is 20 or longer. I guess you get some decent news for Emeka Egbuka today, just from this betting standpoint. Not great for, obviously you don't, but McMillan's going to miss about half the season for them there. I think Egbuka was already going to be the number 2 target anyway until Godwin gets back, but certainly fewer mouths to feed is still going to be better for him. Jeanty is the rightful favorite, Kelly. He's going to, like I said, I think he could lead the league in carries when it's all said and done. If not, he's going to be right up there. They're going to use him a ton. He's a 3-down back, so he doesn't have to come off the field ever either. And Cam Ward's, I get it, he's a quarterback, but he's going to be a really bad team. So I think that Jeanty is the rightful favorite, and I was just trying to take him on with some other quarterbacks that could play their way into the conversation. But Jeanty is, if someone said here's $10,000 and you have to bet it on one player, then I'm betting the $10,000 on Jeanty.
I would actually go Ward. I haven't made a bet. In Rookie of the Year, but I've kind of always found it a little odd that Jeanty is the favorite over Ward. I get what you're saying. We're going to talk AFC West. Are the Raiders really all that much better? What is their game state going to be? We know Pete Carroll's going to want to run the ball. I get that. I think I have questions with this Raiders team right now of how successfully they're going to be able to do that. And just to Cam Ward, a rookie quarterback is never going to come off the field. It's just always got that going for him. Even though I have major questions about how good Cam Ward is going to be in this league. I think the one on this board right now that has me the most interested, I'm going to keep my eyes on, is Jackson Dart. Right, just keep your eyes on what this Giants quarterback situation is, because this number 35 to 1 right now. Okay, expect Russell Wilson to start. How many weeks does he go, though? This number might get longer before he ends up getting into the game.
Well, that's one of the things we can, we've seen, because the markets are so reactionary, is actually week 1 could get here and people just be like, oh, I didn't even realize Jackson Dart wasn't starting. And Russell Wilson starts, and that 35 turns into a 40.
Right, yeah.
Or something like that. Longer. So I think that's something we could do. Defensive Rookie of the Year, the only thing I can tell you is do not bet Travis Hunter. He's sitting at 10 to 1. He's not going to play enough snaps. He plays corner anyway. So, you don't get the counting stats whenever you play corner. It's just my only advice in this market, do not bet Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I'm not betting him in either, right? Offensive or defensive Rookie of the Year. I think it's just I'm really interested to see how this works out with him this year. But even if you're talking about his skills as a wide receiver, he's going to be out there having to tackle on the defensive side of the ball. Completely with you, defensive Rookie of the Year. No interest here. This is another one where I know it sounds boring, but man, I think Abdul Carter plus 225, that might just be a good bet. Yeah. It might be a good bet. We know a good pass rusher is going to a team with a good pass rush situation already.
Coach of the Year, I have one bet in my account. I bet Sean Payton. That number has been nuked. I think the Broncos' love is heavy. And we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. I have 25 to 1. He's all the way down to 16 at DraftKings. I'm sure you can find better if you shop around, but probably not a ton better. I think if you go and you knock off the mighty Chiefs, then Sean Payton is certainly going to be in the discussion for Coach of the Year. So I have Sean Payton. I don't know if you have any other thoughts there on that.
Yeah,
market.
I like that. No, this is another one I think that's pretty. I think you can make a case for a lot of guys here, just depending on what your belief in the team is. So I'm high on the Broncos too. I like that. I like that bet.
The comeback player of the year market is always an interesting one, but I find it very hard to believe that it's not going to be one of the top 3 guys in this market.
I bet
which
it already.
makes it like, yeah, I mean. It's either going to be Dak Prescott or Aiden Hutchinson or Christian McCaffrey. It's going to be one of those 3 for sure. They're all 3 not going to fly.
I mean, I guess I'll include Trevor Lawrence in that, but to me, Dak Prescott has as a starting quarterback, and I got him at 4-1. I mean, this is a shop around thing, but at 4-1, I was willing to jump in as a quarterback. Such an advantage over those other guys when you're just going to be able to look at stats at the end.
Guys, we have the First Bet Travers Wager Guide presented by VSiN. Head on over. This is where we bet horses. Firstbet.com/guide. So go in and take advantage of that. And again, while you're signing up over there, use VSiN250 as your promo code. Not only can you make your bets on these horse races, you can watch them happen in real time. Firstbet.com.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Numbers Game here on VSiN. Matt Brown and Kelly Bidlin here on the desk. You'll be back next week for you guys out there. And looking around, I see this screen behind us changed since yesterday, Kelly Bidlin.
Not the Dinzig screen. I can see that. That's still the same.
There are now 19 Grandissimo entries as opposed to 18. So someone rolled in here with 100K yesterday and signed up.
Okay, I don't want to speak completely out of turn, but Mike and Derek were talking about this. I believe this was just a rando sign-up, one that they were not expecting at all. They rolled in here yesterday and asked about it.
It's one of those things when I say roll in, we think that 100K, like, in $100 bills, though, 100K, it's like, it's not that
what
big.
movie is it where they put like was it $1 million or something? It's in the briefcase.
But,
like that's it.
Like you think someone's like rolling in here with like a duffel bag of money, and it's like no, it fits in like it could fit in like a little lunch pail. Like you're like no, it's just hundreds aren't like it is what it is. Like you don't have to do that.
Yeah, it's all funny until you get paid a large amount of money in 20s, and then you're sitting there like what. This isn't cool.
At least you didn't say ones because then you'd be giving up where you went. Like,
Yeah.
Whenever he's like, yeah, one time I got his fat wad of one. I mean, never mind. You don't need to know.
I received $4,000, $3,000 of it was in 20s one time. And I was like, are you serious? Like, serious right now?
Look at that humble brag that he got $4,000 one time.
20s, Matt.
Look at that humble brag. Kelly's like, yeah, by the way, I got $4,000 one time.
One time.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit more about this, not only the Grandissimo, but just Survivor in general. Tony Farmer joining us here. Find his work at OddsShark and SI as well. Co-host of the Last Men Standing podcast at Tony's Market Tips on the Twitter machine. Tony, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on, fellas. This is a fun full circle moment for me because it was Gil on this show back in 2020 that first sparked my interest in Circa Survivor.
So we are sitting now at, not just at 19 Grandissimo entries. We have a $15 million guarantee on the $1,000 contest. When they announced the 100K contest, what did you think? What was your first thought as to how many they were going to get? Of course, they guaranteed 1.5, so that's 15 different entries. We've blown past that already.
My first thought was like 30, but it wasn't really based on anything. I think it was kind of a big mystery. As time has gone by, I think we're starting to get a little bit better of an idea of it. But Matt, I was wondering like how it would affect the normal Survivor pool. Like, is that pool going to be a little less sharp because some people are putting some of their budget toward that instead and things like that? So that was on my mind quite a bit.
Yeah, I think we're both interested to see, Tony, if there's more, the more signups that continue, does that attract more of those sharp guys to try to go and beat that one as well? So you've got a great piece up over at SurvivorAtlas.com. You and I were exchanging messages about this. I think it's awesome. For those of us who do shows, Matt's obviously all over the Survivor documentary we have going on. The big story the past couple of years has been these week one upsets and kind of the big favorites losing. And you did a great piece laying out some of the details on this. Just want to start with kind of let you speak about it, but kind of what was a big favorite and kind of how you attacked this article.
Yeah, so I looked at big favorites and defined that as those favored by 5 points or more and just started looking at trends. This all came out of the paranoia of week one. I didn't want to fall into traps. I didn't start off writing an article. I started off trying to find some info that would help me avoid some week one traps. So we looked at things like, quarterback experience during the preseason. Was it a home team? Was it an away team? How much experience does the head coach have? Things like that.
So when we look at this, there's been theories that have been thrown out as to why we lose so many people early on in the weeks. And is there anything that you found along the way that really points us to why this happens? Is it because we think we know these teams, we don't really know these teams? Are the point spreads maybe just a little bit off in the first few weeks to where these big favorites maybe shouldn't be as big of favorites as they actually are listed at?
It's a good question. So I don't know the answer. I have theories, right? But when the NFL started doing the 3-game preseasons, I think that changed a little bit in terms of how the quarterback preparation is happening. Like because of some of the nuggets that I found in the article, every single big favorite who lost in since 2020, again, big favorite by 5 points or more, had a starting quarterback who threw 17 or fewer passes in the preseason. 4 of the 9 starting quarterbacks had 0 snaps in the preseason. 6 of the 9 had 7 snaps or less. And just to kind of give you like a qualitative example to back this up, 2023, Vikings are favored by 5 against the Bucs. Maybe I'm bringing back some bad memories for people that lost on that game. But Kirk Cousins enters the season with 0 preseason snaps. He loses 2 fumbles in the first quarter, one from a quarterback center exchange, the other one on a sack. Now, of course, we can't sit here today and say, oh, he lost those fumbles because he didn't play in the preseason. But I think it's fair to ask that question. There might be a little bit of a connection there. Another example, 2022, Burrow favored by 7 points against the Steelers, 0 preseason snaps, fumble in the first quarter, and those were both close games.
Yeah, Tony, that's great. I think we're kind of seeing this all make sense even this preseason, right, with some of these teams playing some of their starters more. We saw, obviously, Cincinnati, the best example, making it clear that they were going to get more playing time for their guys in the preseason, and we see that carry over into week 1 here, at least the past few years. So, home road favorites, I think, divisional, out of division, there's a lot. We talk a lot about that. You don't want to use in-division opponents. Avoid those as much as you can. You think you're getting better off when you go for a big home favorite as opposed to a road favorite. You dug into the numbers, though. What did you find on those?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, if you do a Google search right now for, like, biggest NFL survivor pool myths, you'll find information about how, people think divisional teams are scary in survivor pools, but big favorites in survivor pools actually do pretty well when they're in division. But I found the opposite when looking at week 1 big favorites. So is my sample size too small? You could make that argument. Or is there something different about week 1 where these divisional favorites are actually in riskier territory? So big favorites in division went 4-6 since 2020, and non-divisional big favorites went 11-6. So big difference there. Again, small sample size, or might there be something to this? Maybe you do want to be careful of division favorites in week 1.
Talking to Tony Farmer, co-host of the Last Men Standing podcast. Be sure to check that out, covering the all things Survivor. So we're heading into this season. We start to look at week 1. Have you started to identify, you're probably putting together your own strategy right now. Do you feel there is a trap sitting right now in week 1?
Yeah, I think Washington feels a little trappy. The Giants played Washington pretty tough last year. That defensive line against Washington is interesting. One of the things I talked about in the article is that it seems like teams with good offenses that are going up against teams with bad defenses that are big favorites are a little bit susceptible. We hear so much in the NFL about how, defenses are ahead of the offenses this time of year. And so I think Washington kind of fits that mold of a team that relies a little bit more on their offense and division situation. So that one scares me a little bit.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Tony, just kind of getting away from week 1, kind of biggest piece of advice you have for kind of listeners and viewers out there for how to play Survivor, any big tips, maybe things that you learned very quickly early on like we all do when we play these contests?
Hey, I like that advice in the Survivor documentary. I forget who it was that gave it, but take a team that you can sleep okay at night with. And as we look at week 1, would you guys agree with me? I think the Bengals are the team that is going to give you the most self-hatred if you lose with the Bengals, right? Because they've done it to us already in week 1. So if you go down with the Bengals, you're hating yourself. I feel like if you're going to take that approach, the Broncos are probably the team that you can sleep okay with. If you say, you know what, Cam Ward is the next big thing. He won on the road in Denver against one of the best defenses in the NFL. Nothing I can do about that. Denver might make you feel a little bit better that way. But other advice, I think zig while other people zag. Some of the data that I dug up here, check this out, guys. Since 2022, these big favorites of 5 points or more are 8-8 straight up. That should terrify anybody in Circa Survivor, that the last couple of years, even the big favorites are a coin flip. So maybe you want to take a shorter favorite that a lot less people are on. If the big favorites are unstable as well, just something to think about.
At Tony's Market Tips over on the Twitter machine, he is Tony Farmer. Appreciate the time. Good luck this season.
Thanks, fellas.
Kelly, I'm debating a ton as to kind of how I'm going to go about it this year because I've never made it past week 7. I've always done the all-in. I've always done the shove, right? Am I going to split paths this year? That's kind of the internal debate that I have going right now.
How many are you going with?
So I've gone 6 the past 3 years. I'm trying to, if I go split, I'm probably going to go up to 8 so that I can go 4-4.
Okay.
And then if I'm just going to shove again, then I'll probably just stay at 6 because
no consideration of dialing back.
No, It's $15 million, man. It's $15
I feel like I've
million.
heard more of that in the past year than.
Dude, all you got to do is
just got to pick the winner, man.
You just got to pick the winner.
Just got to pick the winner. How hard is it going to be?
Yeah, there's no point spread involved. It's pretty easy. Guys, if you have not checked out Sharp Plays, head on over there, sharpplays.com. They've been in business since 2011. Documented results, public logs, and transparent receipts on all of that. They got some AI plugged in over there, and they'll send you these picks either straight to your inbox or to your X feed. So again, that is sharpplays.com. When we come back, it is the